I'm not so sure whether I can talk to others face to face anymore, like in real life. Does that sound like you? Well, if it does, you are not alone. I think it's been so long since we last interacted with many people face to face, and so for some it might feel a bit more daunting. So, how do we brace ourselves for impact? Yeah, I'm actually introverted, and so sometimes when I meet people, I do feel awkward as well. I think to myself, what should I say, or how should I say it? What if I say something stupid, or what if I don't say anything? And that feels even more stupid, right? And I think it just goes to show how I'm actually afraid of rejection. I'm afraid that if I'm awkward or weird, that people will reject me. And so I realized that, hey, sometimes there's pressure to fill silence or to perform in front of others. But this pressure tends to make us feel even more awkward. And so it's a really cruel cycle and can be really draining lah. As I thought about it, I sat down and listed out 3 things which I found helpful in my journey of being a little less awkward when around people. So the first thing is to embrace awkwardness. I think it's okay lah to be awkward and not know what to do. Conversation is an art, and art takes time and practice. Silence is okay. We don't always have to fill it with noise. I think in our noise-filled culture, sometimes silence is really, really a gift. Also, in learning to embrace awkwardness, I think we need to learn to laugh at ourselves and just be less self-conscious. Even if it's awkward, so what? The thing is, we often remember embarrassing things that we did years ago, but the truth is, everyone else doesn't. So it's okay. Learn to laugh at yourself and just embrace awkwardness. Second thing is to focus on others instead of self. So when we shift the focus onto other people instead of ourselves, I think it really takes off a lot of the burden. Don't focus so much on what others may be thinking about us, or assume that others are thinking the worst of us lah, because we can't read minds, right? People may not be thinking poorly of us, it's just us, and chances are we are actually being really harsh on ourselves. Yeah, so just be genuinely interested in the other person. Just talk to him and just focus on that person lah, instead of self. The third thing is to remember that it is okay to not be in control. I think what makes conversations tricky sometimes is how we never really know how it will turn out, because we can't control how the other person responds ma. However, if things don't go as we pictured it, I think it just shows that, it's dynamic lah. Conversations, life, it's dynamic and interesting because we cannot predict the future. And also COVID-19 actually showed us that we certainly don't have control, and we had to change and learn to live with uncertainty. However, we can afford to let go of control because God is in control and God can be trusted. I think when we hand over control to God, right, it takes this huge burden off of us. And one of the best things about being a Christian really is, I think, just being able to rest assured in the fact that God is in control and God is good. So we can let go of our control. Talk to someone about it. Talk to someone, express how you feel. I think when we express how we feel, or actually identify what we're feeling, it helps us boost our confidence as we become more aware of our feelings that arise from different situations. But if I still feel anxious, am I a bad Christian? Well, I'd say that God is well aware that we are human and we have feelings. And when I think about roller coaster emotions and the Bible characters, I think about Elijah actually, and how God didn't reject him just because he felt scared. Yeah, you can read about him in 1 Kings, and in chapter 19, 1 Kings chapter 19, we see Elijah running for his life and feeling depressed. But he wasn't met with a scolding. Instead, God sent Elijah food and water and even provided Elijah with a companion who would later on succeed him. So I wouldn't say that anxiety is a sign of being a bad Christian. No. In fact, it is in our struggles where we get to experience God in a way where we otherwise wouldn't. So no experience is ever wasted, and feeling anxious doesn't mean that we are bad Christians lah. That brings me to my next point, really, about what can we do with our anxiety. As we talk to God about these things, can we also, with God's help, step out of our comfort zones? In Proverbs 12 verse 25, we are told that anxiety weighs down the heart, but a kind word cheers it up. Because we know how it feels to be anxious, what it feels like, right? Can we bring cheer to other equally anxious people by stepping out of our comfort zones and being bearers of kind words? It's been a long time since we met people in person. COVID has changed the way we live. Now we get nervous about who is asymptomatic and who isn't. And all this is really beyond our control. So even as we live with limitations for now, let's keep a lookout on what we can do or say to be kind to others. Yes, it's going to be awkward. Do we air high five people without touching? Do we stay 1 meter away? Do we will we even have trouble recognizing people with their masks on? But even if it is awkward, let's focus on others instead of ourselves, and to just let go of that need for control, to step out of our comfort zones and to be kind to others, and to remember you are not alone.
Subscribe to FES Malaysia YouTube channel today.